And we are back. 10.5, we have several theorems that we need to talk about before we begin looking over the exercises. So this is going to be part one of two. The first one, of course, this will be theorems, and the second one will be the practice. So we have 4 theorems that we need to talk about. So 10.14. In 10.14, we are talking about the tangent and intersecting chord theorem. And in this one, it's getting angle 1 and angle 2 across the bottom of the tangent. So to get angle 1, as you can see, the measure of angle 1 is equal to half of what the arc is for AB. So half of the arc AB is going to give you the measure angle 1. So rightly so, then to get angle 2, it's going to be half the arc of BCA, and that one will give you the other side. So depending on what you're given, if you are given a line against a circle, and we ask you what the arc is, then you would take and double if you had 1. But if I'm asking what the 1 is, then I need to take and cut the arc in half. Okay, so hopefully that's as clear as you can get there. Let's look at 10.15. Now 10.15 is angles inside of a circle theorem. And this one is actually just as straightforward. It's really easy to mix up the arcs that you're going to be working with. So what I'm going to suggest is that when you get them, look at what you've got. So for angle 1, which is on the right-hand side here, you need to do DC plus your AB. So let me take and use a highlighter here. I am doing this here. So I'll mark that in green. So that one in green is what you're looking for the first one, okay? The second one is the bigger ones, which makes sense because we're looking for the bigger angle. So I'm looking for AD plus BC, and we're going to take and cut it in half. So the sum of that will give you then what the angle is. And once remember, vertical angles, opposite angles are vertical. This one here is going to give you the other side if you had to figure out what the other side was as well. All right, so let's look at 10.16. Now 10.16 has 3. And all 3 of them, you're going to have to pay real close attention to your homework on what situation you have. You either have one where one of the rays cut through the circle and the other one touches it. You're going to have another situation where both rays, when they cut, they don't cut through it, but they hit the edges. Or the third one where they both cut through it and go on through. So let's talk about each one individually. So for the first one, let me label these so you can see. I find color makes it easier. So we have this one, and we have this one here. So what I have here are 2 things. If I want to know the measure of angle 1, I have to take the bigger arc and subtract the smaller arc from it. Then divide it in half. This way you get the difference of the 2 of them divided in half will then give you whatever the angle is. Same thing is going to happen here. So you're going to find this to be very similar. So the bigger arc here is PQR. We are going to subtract PR. Now be careful because we're not overlapping. We're going back this way. That's something that I found happens a lot when you're not paying attention. So for angle 2, if you notice it's the same pattern. Bigger angle minus smaller angle. And the same thing is going to happen here. So XY is the bigger angle, and we're going to subtract the smaller angle from it. And then we're going to divide by a half, or multiply by half or divide by 2. All right. So as you can see, each one of them is kind of color-coded to help you when you're doing your homework on who's bigger and who's smaller in the angles. If you have expressions put in there instead of numbers, carry the sign through. Don't forget to carry that negative through when you're working it. It will make all the difference. Trust me on this one. The last one is number 17. And number 17, 1017, is getting the inscribed angle theorem. So basically we're using inscribed angle is equal to 180. So what I'm saying is that the two angles should be 180 when you add them together. So for the first one, let me mark the angle. I am looking at ADB. So I am looking at this angle here. So that angle is equal to 180 being subtracted from this here. So the green one is the smaller, or in this case, actually it's the bigger of the two, but that's what's going to be taken away. So it's all about following patterns. So to do number 1017, you take the angle, whichever one they gave you, and you're going to either have the angle set equal to 180 minus x, or you're going to have x equals 180 minus whatever they gave you for the inner angle. Okay, that's it for your theorem part. So this is where the video will end, and we will pick up on video number 2.